Hello, for anyone joining me today. We are back with Funky Kong February. We're diving right into the water this time around. If you're joining me, I guess thanks for ditching the Super Bowl today. Nobody needs it. We'd much rather enjoy our water fun times with our funky bro. You really think about it, and it's just like there's a hard cut between people who care about sports and like treat the Super Bowl as gospel, essentially, even up here in space, which is incredible. Lets you know how heavily Americans just market the crap out of that, where they're just like, give me the sports ball. I am not really one of those. I've tried a little. At least I do my best to keep up with it. But it's not really something that's ever been up my alley for the most part. Which is like really weird with some of my background. So childhood time where we're talking about it. My dad in particular is a big sports ball kind of guy. So he keeps up with all these kind of things. There's nothing up here, is there? Diving down. But so regularly as a kid, he's always here just, oh, wait, I can stop that. Wait, maybe there is something. Put me back. Actually, spin my bro. So I'm used to seeing the sports ball games going on. Football in particular, actually, going on in the old abode. And my dad's the type of guy who'd always be like super into it. So like we're talking when the touchdown happens and it's for the winning team, he is stomping and clapping, yelling, like doing all the motions. He's like the jump out of seat kind of guy, where it's just like full force, like this is the sports ball moment. This is what he's been waiting for, is this week right now. And it's like, I can dig it. There's things I really like too, even though like sports aren't really one of them. It's just like funny. If I ever think I can be really animated about stuff, I have, and like maybe I think that's okay for me. I'm going to say that it's totally fair for people to be animated about their like things they really love too. This is like a switch or something at the open, right? I just beep it. Yeah. I'm going to check out what else is around first though. But yeah, I can, as long as it doesn't lead to like bad behavior, I'm totally down for excitement in the sports ball realm, because like people get turned about video games all the time. I've already kind of had a couple of my moments, so like I think fair enough. But it's always been mainly just football is the thing I noticed that like is the most hyped up thing, where just like that's the one that at least people around me I've seen get really into. And like they watch other sports. I've seen it. Like baseball is another prominent one I've seen, and I at least have some like familiarity with. But like when you hit the runs and you get the bases in baseball, like I guess in the stadium there's still people who do it. But on like TV, you just kind of we just watch it happen, and you just be like, yeah, yep, that's another score. Good for us. We're doing okay. Yay. But then there's always just this like myth, the football, where they're just like, wow, look at the guy run with that ball. That is the best thing ever. It is time for celebration, time to flip out. And anything that gets me turned as a dad watching, man, I guess like since the direct has happened, I know I've kind of talked about that a little bit. Like when there's something I'm really into that can get me pretty like surprised. I don't know if I've ever been a stomp and shout in glee kind of guy. Like I have this weird way of processing things, I think most of the time, where a lot of things tend to like hit me kind of subdued when I first see it. Like I'll witness it and I'll definitely have the reaction that's like correctly how I'm doing. Like something will get me all hyped up or something, but it's not like I'm super just like jumping out of the seats. It's one of those things where I'll see it and I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I like this. And then it settles in, you know? And then like the more you think back on it, you're like, actually, yeah, this is really cool. And your brain has time to process it, or like my brain does. And then it just kind of finalizes and cements what you're feeling, where if your gut reaction was like, this seems pretty cool, and then you let it sit and you're like, actually, yeah, that was really awesome. And then it's fun to talk about. But in terms of like, I just saw something happen right now and my first reaction is to just do hooting and hollering. I can't say I've ever been quite like that. I think that's just a personality thing. Maybe that's for the best. I tend not to be like on either side. I think I just went through this, right? Yeah, this is just all extra stuff. I don't need that. We're going through. But, so it means I don't have any major, like, touchdown celebrations. But I also don't get, like, controller throwy. I think I mentioned that before. Where it's just like, on the other end, I can have some things that frustrate me. But I never, like, get full on livid about it most of the time. Oh, the level's already over. I thought there'd be more. Neat. So maybe that's a blessing also, maybe. At least when people come up to me the next day, if they're just like, Korshal, check out this really cool thing, and it's something I actually know, then I'm able to hold a really long discussion about it. I guess like being on here is kind of proof of when I put it that way. And it's just like, heck yeah. Yeah, I can talk about this thing the whole time. And like, I reflect on all of these cool moments and I know the details and everything. And it'll just be like, yeah, that was pretty cool. But then it's just like, you sit me down in front of the TV and I'll just be like, yeah, okay, neat. And then I just kind of take my notes and I come back to it later. Oh, and then it's just like, oh, this is the minecart already, isn't it? I forgot this happened so soon. This one's good. I remember liking this one. Whoop. But, like, I think about, sharks and everything. Heck, I have to make sure I don't just die as I'm trying to scoot along and chat. So, like, we're talking about how football was the big thing around here. But, like, it's always been one that, like, I've found okay. I have more memories of just, like, it being the thing that's just around me the whole time. And I would see things like, oh, you go over to a friend's house when you're a wee little one. And it's just like, oh, the dad's playing Madden on OG Xbox kind of turf. And it's just like, well, all right, that's the adult thing. That's the thing the grown-ups do. Because they seem really passionate about this mysterious football and they're playing this video game, and like, you know, you're little, so you're just like, if the adults are doing something, I gotta be able to tell what's going on. I want to know what's up. Let me try this. And then I just like don't know what's happening. So like, you go to the screens in Madden and it's just like the playbook, you know? So as a kid, you get this and you're just like, I have no idea what any of this means. You see all the triangles, you see the X's, the squares, the lines, and like, you just pick it up when you're like 8 and you have no conceptual understanding what any of this is. So you're just like, I'm gonna just pick a button, and whatever the guys start to do, I guess that's cool. It's just like you're just picking the diorama of little digital football men to start doing whatever you think is going to happen. Oops. And then that's it. And especially since I remember there was one, oh boy, I don't remember the name of it, but there was a Super Nintendo football game that my family owned. And I absolutely had zero idea what was happening. I didn't know there was penalties for like delay of game and all that. So you see this timer coming up or something, and you don't know what it means when the game's just like, I was so close. But like, you don't know what it means when you're just looking at all these shapes, and then you start hearing this like ticking, like this little buzzer, like boop, boop, boop. because it's getting close to the delay of game and stuff. And suddenly the game's just like, and it tells you things like words appear on the screen. You still don't know what that means. And then it's just like, oh, I guess I'm back to looking at the playbook now, except now I have no... Man, these levels are just shorter than I remembered. But now I have no time limit to pick a play anymore. So you're like, cool, all right, neat. And they're named all sorts of like code names, basically, depending on the thing. Or just like, maybe code name is the wrong way to put it. It's all football terms. So you see things saying like quarterback sneak or like shotgun or like nickel package, and you're just this little kid and you're just like, this is all gibberish. Nothing I'm picking makes any sense. You just like, you finally select the play because you're just like, I like this particular array of squiggles and shapes, and then you just see these guys just start running in the game and you're just like, I'm just going to push forward. Like, you're the quarterback, so you're supposed to throw this ball, and you're just like, I'm just going to run. Like, go forward. Brain says move. And you just get, like, instantly clobbered because you're the quarterback in the far back. So, suddenly, it's just like, I guess, my guy's getting nailed every time. The only play I remember moving any yardage on and wanting to do in that particular Super Nintendo game is the like kickoff, when you have the return runner pick up the ball and you're like, this is the highlight of the game. This is the one part that makes sense to me, because you get guy with the ball and he run fast, and all you have to do is not get hit by the other guys, right? So it's just like, yeah, I thought I was going to bounce off that guy. He's in the way. Please leave. Give me the boy. So you get your kickoff return. You're just like, yeah, I'm totally going to do it. Time to run the ball. And like the music kicks in for, I think, that particular segment in that game. I don't know if it ran in the other parts, like during the normal play-by-play sessions, but there's definitely music during kickoff returns. And you're like, this is the best part. And then, you know, you get tackled, and that's when the game gets confusing, because the music goes away. You have all the foreign language of the playbook again. So you mess up all four of your things, like all four of your plays, because you go through 3 plays where you have no idea what you're doing. And then it's like, you should kick off, like, go punt. You've messed up. Don't let the guys get the ball so close to your goal because you've barely moved anywhere since your return. And I was like, no, I don't know what this means. So you back up and you see all the playbooks. You don't really know what special teams mean either. So you don't know where you came from. So you can't even return to the punt play if you wanted to. So you're like, what if we just run ball again? Let me pick shotgun because that's a word. And I'm going to continue doing it. Where do I have the bot to make this? Oh, I just hit that light? Okay, coming back. Thank you, game. It's been a bit. So yeah, you just do the thing, and you fail in 4th down because it was like 4 and 20, and you thought it was a good idea to run the ball. So the enemy team gets it, and now you don't know what any of your defensive things mean either, nor how to play your dude. Like, I was absolutely clueless. So you just end up letting the other team score. But this was a blessing in disguise, because you know what that means. They get to kick off again, and now you get to run the ball again. You get to do the best part of the game just by screwing up. Thank you, checkpoint. I was running low on health as I'm babbling. But yeah, it'd just be like, yep, this is the part with the music. This is the part where I'm doing the most to play the game, and I feel like I have actual agency about what's going on. So I was definitely the manager throwing the game just to watch one guy run the ball repeatedly. I don't want to get hurt by those. I know they hang out. But it was fun at the same time. Like, no regrets for my horrible football play style. It was the best thing I could have wanted in its own way. I don't even remember when exactly football started making sense. I was not spinning. All right, set me back up. We're going right through. At some point, it just came back to me that this was like how football worked. Maybe my dad finally talked me through. Oops. And then I could actually understand, like, I probably finally began to observe what was on television when I got old enough. And you see this, dad doing the hooting and hollering thing again. So you're just like, okay, sure. Let's find out what this is about. And then you just kind of sit and watch, and you're still just like, I see dudes running and referees shouting stuff, funny whistles. Oh my gosh, that's another thing. So going back to the SNES game too, this is the thing where, like, when you're on defense, I remember this now. This is coming back to me. So you're playing defense and you're just picking plays that you don't know what any of them mean. And you don't understand the concept of the quarterback, oh my gosh, launching the ball and starting the play, I was so close. So you don't know what it means to be at the line and wait for them to snap the ball. So another way they would score all the time is because you're constantly going off sides. And you'd find it hilarious because, so you being the defense guy, and the defense guy is a tackle button, right? So you're like, I'm lined up. And you figure out that the moment you press the tackle button and you cause offsides to happen, even though you don't understand what offsides is, and that's actually actively bad for you, when you do it, all the other guys in the game jump. So suddenly you make all these digital little men like bounce up and just topple over each other like dominoes. And that was so funny. You're just like, look, I can make all the funny men just like collide into each other and make like 16-bit like noises as soon as they all see one guy like immediately tackle the lineman in front of them. And it's just like, yes, this is funny. I like making funny guys do funny things. So the whole time you're just causing all this offsides. It's constantly first down for the enemy team. They're always going to the like goal without having any like valid plays happening, because you're just letting them march right there and there's no play timer because the play never even starts. You're just making them march all the way to the end zone because you just like watching guys collide into each other. So yeah, never put me in charge of football. I was not good then, and I probably wouldn't be great now. Oh, that's good to reflect on. But at some point, I figured out what all this was, and it's fun just to watch now and again. I remember I get the speed up from this guy because this music was good. Man, my spinning is real bad. Oh, at some point, I gotta slow down and then keep going. I finally picked up on what football meant. And, like, the dad's pretty into it. So you're like, maybe there's a little bit of football I can try. It would come up in gym class, but it's flag football. So, like, no one's going to just get themselves actively, like, murdered. We know there's, honestly, a lot of problems with football when we talk about it in terms of, like, the physical consequences. And I agree that that's a problem. But when you're a kid, that's a little less obvious. And there's, like, one moment, oh boy, I was middle school, where it's a friend's birthday party. So one of the things that, like, his dad was one of the Madden players. Hello, little arm. I just gotta move. Don't tickle me. Woo! But, so he's like, yeah, we got the friendos here. It's time to do some football. And this time we'll make it actual tackle football because we're all light enough there that presumably should not be a problem. So it's just like, okay, it's sports ball in time. And boy, I was maybe 2 or 3 plays into it. And they're just like, all right, Korshel, it's your turn to run the ball. And that's like, okay, cool. I can at least sprint. I have a decent set of legs. I know I can try to take off. And that one play, I get tackled, and I get knocked off my feet. I immediately wind up in a crazy position, and I was like, something tells me my leg should not bend that way. And massive amount of pain. End up being set on the couch. My leg isn't broken, but I quickly find out that I have a severe sprain, and I get a good old leg cast for 2 weeks because of this. The one and only time I've ever touched, yeah, it wasn't great. The only time I ever touched tackle football, I immediately get knocked out of the game for 2 weeks. And that was all the convincing little me needed to be like, I'm never doing tackle football again. It is cursed. If this is what happens to me, the second I even begin to try to do this, I am never doing it again. Give me anything that's not serious contact sports, and I'll at least try that. Like, you do, super common thing for kids in my era, probably still now, is like softball. And you're just like, all right, cool. Like, I can set it up. Give me T-ball. Just put it right there. You can't miss. You just get to whack it. You have your big bat. You get to go ahead and just give it a good whack. Watch it fly far. Know that it was your strength that was sending it this way. And that's fun. Ow. We like that. But I found out that I have an aversion for... all right, I got to do this. Gotta prank this man with bombs. But found out I had an aversion for high-speed objects. Even if I have a decent ability to catch things, if something's coming at me fast, I would flinch, especially as a kid. Which, like, can you blame me? They'd be like, all right, batting team had their time to go. It's time for the fielding now. Go out and be the fielder. Go do the fielding thing. Here's your mitt. It's weird it's on your other hand, but trust me, that will make sense when you're older. And go out there and catch the ball. So, like, Corso goes out there, gym class, or like community softball, whatever, T-ball. And you're just like, okay, let me do the thing. And then you see it coming at you, and all sense of coordination goes out the window. Because you're like, wait a second. This thing's coming in fast. And you're just like panicking. You're like, what if I can't grab this thing? What if it just hits me in the face? I don't want to go through this pain. This seems terrible. So now it's just like, okay, I'm not catching the ball, and also I'm dying. Oops. The K was not worth it. So it's just like, I can't catch. It took me years later where my dad, the great sports ball guy that he is, he likes to play like baseball and softball, which I do think is actually pretty cool because he's kept at it for years. And he'd be like, hey, son, we need practice. I need to be able to stay on top of my game for like catching and throwing. Would you like to go out and just like go in the field right nearby and just like pass back and forth? Like, you can work on your form, you can get used to catching with a mitt and stuff. And it'd be like, well, all right, sure, yeah, if you need the help, I'm down. Let's go ahead and give this a go. And the first couple of times, like, I was awful, of course, because high-speed ball, even when we're just kind of throwing it up, because, like, community softball rules, like, you don't really want to throw directly at a person's face. Like, you want to be able to try and win, but, like, no one's trying, like, that hard, I guess. It's more just like having a good time with the community, So even with that, you just see like the ball coming up from above, and it's just like, oh boy, like this is coming pretty fast, and if I can't coordinate this glove in front of my face, I'm gonna take a wallop. But I was able to work on that, and I got okay-ish at throwing a ball. I think I throw it pretty okay now. Like, I won't say I'm anywhere near like what anyone would expect out of the traditional sense of it, but like, I don't think it's terrible either. I feel like I would do okay when it comes down to it. would I join like a company sports team if any other stores of my kind of job is just like, yo, let's do friendly competition? I'll be probably like, no. My coworkers are way more into it than I am. I would be happy to run cheerleading squad. Woo, woo. All right, let me through this. Let me through. But like, I can get baseball a little bit more. I was invited to a number of games when I was younger with my dad, and I have good memories of that. Like, that was pretty fun. I will wait for this barrel to spin up. Like, I would say I have plenty of good times with that when it comes to it. I have to swing back around. This is a weird rotation. Yep, one more, right? Nope. Now one more? Heck yeah. But it's like the stadium experience is pretty fun. And I like being able to do that. Would I actively try to do it myself if I was driving? Not really. Like, everyone knows how packed those things get. It's a big deal. Like, one, they're all in major cities. Yeah, I agree. You have to go for, like, the food experience. You know, it's not, like, the healthiest food, but it's, like, it's a good novelty to it. And just, like, getting to have the designated kind of food for most of the concession stand food in that type of thing is worth it, honestly. Like, it's a nice, fun, different thing as long as you aren't trying to do it all the time. But you try to go, like, a stadium, and you know it's in a major city. So you're like, well, great. There's this major space station that has the stadium, and I got to go through all this traffic with my ship. And you're just like, there's the wait times, there's the queues. They have the traffic people just sitting out on the little orbital lights and everything. And it's just like, man, it's not only was it an hour and some for me to even like drive to where I've got to in my little cruiser, I now have to wait an additional hour just to get through the waiting line. And it's like, man, that's a lot. And you know, when you try to get out then, because all the ships are parked, and it's like, man, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be, oh, I'm remembering how this works. Oh no. Okay. I was like, I got to throw this, right? And then it started growing. You're like, nope. But yeah, then you got to get out too. And then, depending on when it is, you have to go through the whole city again. And it's like, oh, man, dude, that's a lot. This is a lot of time devoted just to getting in and out versus like actually being there. So my dad actually did this too for the whole reason of trying to get out. It'd be like, say you're at the baseball game, 9 innings. Usually around the 7th inning stretch, that was our time to leave. Because, one, my dad works early shift. But then, two, it's just like, who really wants to try to get out of everyone leaving at once at the official end of the game? So he'd be like, yeah, all right, like, we have the space radio, so we'll just put on the remainder of the game during the drive. Like, there's probably an hour or some of this game left. And that's about the time it's going to take to get back. So let's just drive back, maybe get some, like, different food along the way. And then we'll just listen to it and be like, you know what, Dad, that's actually a great idea. And whenever I've gone to a thing myself, that's just the logic to follow. Because it's just like, I don't want to be right out here in the middle of night when everyone is like leaving, where not only is leaving your little parking area already pretty tough, you then have to like deal with the fact that actually everybody is leaving right now at this moment. And it's just like, oof, yeah, that's not worth it. But the pizza? The pizza's pretty good. The fact that we're talking about good food, I'm not much of a hot dog guy. So, like, the classic baseball hot dog, not really for me. Not really, like, I'm a pretty devoted chicken stan, if I haven't mentioned this before. Or if so, I'm going to state it again before I continue. And it's just like, pizza though. I've also talked about pizza. And you figure out that these concession stands have the little mini personal pizzas at, like, 4 slice, like corner slices. And that was my thing. Where it'd be like, you get there super early because you don't want to get there when there's too many people and even then there's a line. So you wind up just getting there with an hour to kill. You get your little program talking about the team or like any community events happening in or around the stadium. And it'd be like, you get your money, and Dad's just like, yeah, go get what you want. I'm like, I'm always going for the pizza. And they had a program at the stadium that I would go to where it'd be like the designated, oh my gosh, you are right. Perfect dessert is just like the honey roasted like pecans or stuff, or just like any type of thing they have where they have like a bunch of different nuts. Those are also really great. And before I go back to my one program, since we're talking about dessert stuff, I am a fan of the Dippin' Dots. We've had them in space forever because you know how advanced we are. But nice and novel still to me. Even if they aren't news and it's just a bunch of tiny little frozen spheres that probably give you mild like frostbite, like frostburn, because you're just like, I'm gonna put as many in my mouth at once and they're sticking, yay. And then once you're done, you're just like, why can't I feel my tongue for a bit? But worth it. I still love those things. Like, it's great. I love them. Like, the little spheres are so amusing to me, even though it's completely overpriced. That is a great way to have ice cream. It's just like, it's worth it. It's worth it for the childhood feels. I like that. But as for getting my food situation before the sports ball games in baseball stadiums, there is the designated driver program. And so, like, you'd go up and you'd just be like, here's my... Like, how it works is you'd go up and you're like, here's my ID. I can legally drive. I am the designated driver of whatever group. Whatever, right? You have, like, your ticket stub and stuff. So they're like, yeah, here's a voucher for a free soda because you ain't getting drunk today. So my dad would get this. And then he would give it to me. And he'd be like, yeah, free soda. You want it for your pizza. Go ahead. And I was super, like, rules obedient as a kid. Like, anytime anything I perceived as rule breaking was happening, I'd just be like, I can't do that. Like, no, they say I can't. That's not what's supposed to happen. The world will end if I break this. But my dad would give me this and it'd be like, yeah, you're going to get food and a drink because you want to eat and be ready for this game. So go ahead and use it. So I would just look at it and be so nervous. I'd be like, they're going to catch on. What if I go up to this and I'm like 10 and I give them this voucher for a free drink? They're going to look at me and be like, I don't think you can drive. And imagine the moment they call me out, I just die right there. Not only was I rules obedient, I was always very shy. Like, any adult was just big and authoritative and able to end my world in an instant if I did anything wrong. So I'm walking up here by myself because, like, I was trusted enough to do that, and the concession stand wasn't that far from our seats because, you know, they're everywhere in these things. So it would just be like, where do I go? Do I go the other corner? I go down here? Down? Wait. Oh, just into the cave. Got it. But yeah, I'd just be like, the moment I get called out for this, it's done. Everything is over for me. I will never be able to look at anyone again. And the concession people don't care. They already know the context. Little kid was given the free drink, so they're going to give him the soda, right? But that's still, like, for years, I was always afraid. I thought I was getting away with highway robbery, and that at any moment in any one of these games we'd go to, I would finally get caught. And it would just be like, I won't be able to do anything about this. I will be, like, kicked out. We won't be able to do the thing. It's just like everything is done. Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. Well, I messed up the shot. I was too far away. Oh, he's coming back. Or maybe, yeah, I gotta totally... I guess they make it easy. There we go. Give him a poke. But I just thought it was going to ruin everything. And, well, I really have to know when to not just spiral. Because I am going to get bopped. Oh, the mercy health. Thank you, Funky Mode. But yeah, it was great. Like, I felt so much better when I actually hit 16 and I got my ship license. And it's just like, can I bop this guy? Yeah, neato. So then I was like, okay, the mask has come off. I can actually prove I can drive. So now it's just like, yeah, no one can call me out now. I can drive. And it's so much relief for such a non-thing that no one was going to care about. They're just like, kid, take your Pepsi, please. Because that's what they served there. And maybe that's part of the reason I grew up being, I'm going to say it now because I haven't talked about it. Oops. That in the great soda debate of the world, I am a Pepsi man. Throw up the theme song and I will always come running if you give me that choice or Coke. This is known. Let me get banned across many people for the great fiery debate that is between the two sodas. But it's always just been the thing. And I'm pretty sure baseball has something to do with it. Because that's what they had at the time from any licensing agreement that was going on. It's just like, yep, here's the soda and it's Pepsi. And I just got more used to that. Which I guess I would have fast food. I remember, the standby favorites that everyone knows for being everywhere is Burger King and McDonald's. So of course they have Coke. Because that's always been their thing. That's just always been the thing. But I just wound up liking Pepsi more. Because, if I have to say it, one, I know to wait a second. There we go. If I had to rate between the two sodas, Coke is always a little acidic for me. And, I say that knowing there's plenty of studies about how, literally acidic Coke is. But it's just something where it's it just felt a little what's the word? Harsher, right? That's how I would describe it, is it's harsher on my tongue, where Pepsi's a little smoother, a little sweeter. I'm sure the sugar content of both are atrocious, and I'm not really much of a soda guy now. I just kind of have it when I'm out, at a restaurant or with friends or something. Then it's sure, I'll have some. But let me give you a boop. But it's just yeah, I'm always going to be a Pepsi man, with the exception if we're talking drinks based on things, where it's just oh, I can't believe I made that angle. That was awesome. But it's just ices. Ices are great. I already talked about I like dipping dots, and I guess I'm just on will you trace me down here? No, you're just doing your puff attack. I like my cold treat kind of things. All right, I see. Careful, Swim. Please don't fall down. Oh, he's falling. But frozen treat things are great, and that applies to ices. I love ices. I would dare say between kind of the more committed frozen form of an icy versus a slushy. I kind of like ices more, even though they do just ultimately become, slush when they melt enough. But that was the thing that kept me going. If we had to talk about, oh boy, these crazy angles I'm getting are kind of nuts. But you just have ices were just doing it for me. I would want to go to McDonald's or Burger King because I really should not have tried that, but I'm doing it anyways because we're rolling today. I would want to go to McDonald's because I think they had it for a while too, where they would have ices, and then Burger King, of course, has had ices for the longest time. I missed that fish. Oh, thank you, Invol. Oh, now we're actually getting to the bosses that matter. Oh boy, let me just boop. Oh, there we go. Never mind, it's done. Why won't you let me slap the fish? Come on. I just want to slap a fish. Jeez.